Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Maheshkariya. You guys are watching me on YouTube Live, and today I'm gonna take you through how to deploy your MySQL and AWS Lambda function to AWS Cloud using SAM CLI and using CloudFormation templates. So this is a super easy tutorial because I have seen lots of my colleagues was doing it manually by going into AWS console and doing creating MySQL RDS cluster manually, which is a kind of really not a good way and not productive way of doing things. Instead of that, we are going to use a CloudFormation and SAM CLI. So without wasting any time, let's deep dive into it. So I have VS Code open already. So I'm going to open my terminal and I have my AWS CLI already installed inside my system. So if you don't have it, you just need to search it for AWS CLI and you will get this very first link over here. You just need to download it and configure it. Once you have it, go here and simply search for AWS configure and hit enter. You just need to add your access key and secret key here that you will get from your IAM user, that I'm assuming you already have this access. And after that, you need to install SAM CLI. So simply search for SAM CLI and hit enter. So this is also you need to install. This is a serverless function that you can do it manually here. Okay, and that's it, nothing more than that. After that, you just need to hit this very first command, that is SAM init, and let me increase my font size so it should be visible to you. So you can select this very first quick start template, and after that you can select this hello world example, because this is the simplest YAML file that you will get with this. So you can select the other options as well according to your choice. For now, I'll put this the first one. After that, this Python and zip combination is very popular, but we are not going to use this because I wanted to use a dockerized container. That's why I'm going to select no for this, and these are the runtimes are available that you can choose from. So of course, you are a Java developer or Node or Python or Ruby developer, and Rust, whatever you can familiar with, you can choose. Like .NET 5 is also there. So I'm going to go with Python 3.9. So this one 13 I'm going to select. After that, I'm going to select this image file because there are lots of dependencies I will be using, and Dockerize is something use ECR behind the scene, just like your microservices, so which is easy to do and write your own configuration in Docker file. That's why I like to go with this, because for the production I always prefer to go with image, and this is it. After that, you can add this X-ray tracing. Of course, in the production it would be helpful. I don't need it for now, so it depends. We'll go with the yes for now. After that, my project is about connecting Python with MySQL without going to your AWS console, not with the UI, just with the YAML file and with the CLI only. Okay, let's see how it goes. So I'll name it PyMySQL. This is all about just connectivity. Rest of the things are really very easy. So it's gonna get from this URL. You can click here and you can see all the templates are there, that this CLI is working online, and these are the templates it's getting. So yeah, this is it. This is it. We got it already, and once you have it, you can open your PyMySQL here. You can see your hello world code, which is look like this, the simplest code that you can see, and nothing but just a request and response that you will get in the form of this event. You will get events, and this is it. Okay, so I'm not going to deploy this one, but the more familiar thing is about this Docker file. If you guys are familiar with Docker file, you can I'll quickly go through it. Like this is a public image. You can go to ECR These are the open images of AWS. Okay, so it's getting it, then it's copying your app.py and requirement.txt to here. Instead of, you can use dot slash as well to grab all the things, but we will be having many of things like env folder and much more, so you can name it all the files or folder. So it will a copy from here to that container, and after that it will run this command. So you can create here your custom commands to create a virtual env if you required. So it all up to you how you utilize this. So for now, this is the simplest things that you should know. Events is something used to kind of pass events, and based on that you can test the Lambda functions if you like the API gateway pattern to directly hit the HTTP APIs, not REST APIs. There is a difference between HTTP API and REST API that I'll tell you later. For now, test cases also, if you guys are familiar with it, definitely look after it and you can write your own things. I can prefer to delete this for now, but let it be there. A readme file, I don't need this readme file, but template is something where the magic happens. Okay, and that's what you have to go through it. Let me close this up. So I'll go through it one by one. This is a pattern of versioning. Okay, so don't worry about this. Instead of numbers, they prefer to use this date format. This is not today's date, this is the date where it version launch. Okay, and we need to follow that, so don't worry about this. After that, transform is also will be stay there, and description you can manipulate about your project, you can write here. Globals are the function with the timeout of 3. You can increase with the 10 seconds or on and on. Okay, tracing that we have provided, this is kind of tracing, like it's like a matrix where you can check logs with tracing. Okay, what's going on, and just for the production things and testing, debugging, and lots of this is I'll show you later. So for now, I'll say this tracing enable. Okay, and after that, resources is something, if you guys are familiar with the Docker Compose file, this is same as your services where you provide the services. These are my services. Okay, let me remove all the unwanted comments that are not needed for now. So I need one hello world function. So here is my hello world function. Okay, it's a type of serverless function. Then it is a package type is image. Here you can define your AMD, or two types of processors are there, x86 or AMD processor, you can choose off. Now I'm not going to create each route for every function. Instead of, I'll be using a single function to map all the routes inside that using switch cases, all the methods using switch cases we can route. For that, I need to make a little change to handle the proxy like this, and instead of get method, we can use any to grab all the endpoints with any methods. Okay, and once you have it, you can, like, this is Docker context, you can name it according to your choice. For now, this is the folder name. Okay, and this here is your Python version. So for now, this is all you have to know. Output is something that you can write or don't write, it's all up to you. Once this CloudFormation will be generated, this kind of links will be generated for your API gateway. This will be link will be generated. Okay, so I'll remove this hello. This is my staging environment, like prod, QA, and that kind of staging that you can add here. You can add multiple endpoints here by grabbing this many times, and here as well for the function, like it's gonna show the ARN in the output format once it is getting created. And for now, I need a MySQL. For that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to grab one MyDB. So for that, I'll put this as a MySQL DB. So this is my MySQL DB with type of RDS. You might have familiar of RDS, relational DB services that AWS provides, and where you can allocate your storage like up to 5 gigs or 15, or on and on you can provide up to 100. Okay. T2 small is a type of instance of your EC2. So you might have heard of T2 micro, which is free tier eligible, and after that this will be a kind of paid. So this is my MySQL username and MySQL password with database name, and this policy allows you to open your inbound rule 3306 to publicly accessible. So that's why I'm using this to true. For production we need to define our custom groups and ingress. Okay, so for we'll go the simple way. So just write this, and once you write this it will automatically create your MySQL container on AWS using RDS, and which will be publicly available to the internet. That's it. So this is it, and after that we'll jump to app.js, and I'll grab one code which is a simplest. Instead of this I'll be using normal connection code of Python, and you might have familiar with this. I'll just hit the query of create users. Okay, and nothing more than that. Here I'll put my connection later. Once this will get generated, I can use manual or dynamically as well, that I'll show you later in the form of passing environments. So for now what I'll do is I'll first use SAM build. Okay, before that as well I need to install MySQL because I don't have MySQL here. So let me grab this. So inside MySQL I need to change it, and inside that I need to check where is my hello world. I'll go to the hello world, and inside that I can create my own Python virtual environment. So python 3 -m venv space env is env folder will get created here. So it got created, so I can now use source to go inside env and /bin/ of course activate to activate virtual environment, and after that I'll hit the command to install my MySQL. Okay, and once this is done, you can do this as well if you want to get the latest pip. So let's wait for it. Okay, this is done. After that I'll use pip install again. Sorry, I need to generate generate my MySQL requirements.txt. Okay, I forgot the command. So I'll grab this command. Let me grab this quickly. I used to work on Node.js and other platforms, so I'm not much familiar with this. So let me grab this quickly. Okay, here like this. So you can see this is added here. Now what I can do is use SAM build in order to build. Make sure you have to have Docker available, because okay, I need to go to root directory. So I already have Docker running, you can see here. So it's gonna take time to pull for the very first time if you don't have it, and once you have it, it won't take much, and for the first time you can directly use this command to deploy using guided mode. So it will help you to set up the stack. So SAM config toml file. So I'll use my name as MySQL because that's the agenda of project, and AP South 1 is my region. So region is something very important to choose from. So generally we use US East 1, which is a kind of monster we can say in because most of the guys they don't care about these things and directly deploy the things here, which is not ideal way of doing things, because according to your region it will pick the things easily and it will be load faster. So that's why we deploy in the region where we are located at. So this is my region, that's why I have selected AP South 1. Once you have it, after that it will ask that you need to confirm changes before deploy. Yes, it will ask yes or no at last when before deploying it. So I'll go with yes, and after that it needs to create IAM role. So provide permission yes. A disable rollback is allows you to help to not roll back. So you can get your errors messages. Okay, you can see what's going on and what went wrong. That's why if you are not sure, then you can use yes, that I need to check the logs, so don't roll back everything, so I can find and debug the things. After that, this may not be authorization defined, because nowadays all the API functions that you need to authorization you should provide. Now for the production support, for the production ready application, so I don't have it, so it is asking that okay, this is fine, so I'll say yes, this is fine. And now the last thing is, it's going to say that all the arguments that we have just selected will generate the sam.toml file and save this configuration there. So I'll say yes. So name, it will ask, you can provide another name like something else, so I'll go with the default name. And configuration environment, that will be default. This is the profile that is getting selected when you guys are remember, like I did AWS configure, so that was profile got created inside my system by the name of default. That's why it is asking, and we can create multiple profiles for QA and prod. So for now I'll go with the default. So last, it will ask again, because it needs ECR to get created, and ECR is something Elastic Container Registry. So I'll search for ECR. Okay, so this container registry is we use to deploy your images here. So see, this image got created here, and no, it's my previous image. So somehow we can see the timing 1:55, so now it is 3:23, so it's 2 hours before I was testing. So let's go back. So this is Elastic Container Registry. Share and deploy your container software publicly and privately. So we are deploying it here. Okay, so it is asking to create and manage ECR repository functions. I'll say yes, because we are using Dockerized containers, which is more flexible, and you can utilize your own languages there as well, like very different languages that we rarely use, like Erlang, Alexa, R language, this kind of language we do. So rollback complete. Okay, this is showing one of the exception, terminal failure. Let's see what we can do there, and if we can have things we can build first. Let me build again, and let me try to deploy things. So I don't have that sam config.toml yet here. It means I need to do this thing once again. We might did something wrong, so let me do this again. MySQL test maybe. Okay, I'll say yes, 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 yes again, yes for everything as usual, and it will ask S3 bucket can be set. Okay, it's fine. Let's create and let's see. So this time it should work. My internet connected, I have checked that as well. So now let's go there, and yeah, now seems like it's getting created. Sometime it happens, might be uh, because of internet, not sure, but might be because of CLI it was showing. So for the first time it will take time, so till then I'll walk you through what we are going to create. The first thing we are going to create is we have a lambda function, which is a serverless function. Okay, and that lambda function is going to connect with your MySQL, which is a RDS, which can be anything like Postgres or MySQL or any other. Okay, and now we have CloudFormation here. So here I'm going to say this is my CloudFormation. CloudFormation is just a template which is not real. Okay, and what is real is a container which is getting created here. Okay, so this lambda function will be inside here. So I'll say this is my ECR, so it's going to deploy inside ECR and my network, because this thing is publicly accessible because of my inbound rule. Okay, that we said here, inside my template I have wrote this public accessible true. That's why this is accessible true, and I'll say this is part of. Now I'll write like this, so this is more convenient way of saying things. Okay, now let me grab this inner one here. So now it's looking good to me. Okay, and here we go. You guys are might getting confused, but this is how it works, the logical layers I'm trying to show you guys. Okay, this is the simplest way, and what I'm doing is I'm using this external world to provide all the APIs to me. Okay, all the APIs for single container using this proxy keyword that I have used here. This proxy is self enough, and these two things are self capable to get all the things here. Okay, so because of this thing, it is super easy to get all the things at once. Okay, let me grab this here, and my RDS cluster I can create manually as well. Most of the developers, they like to go to RDS and they do things manually. Okay, the last one is remaining. So here is the RDS, relational database service. Okay, I have seen many developers, what they do, they create a database manually here. Manually they can choose the database like Oracle and all the things. They can select the version and they can, but the thing is, these are the things are for beginners. But when you do the professional DevOps things, you should use the CLI or YAML CloudFormation file, so it will take care about rollback, changes and all the things that we don't have to worry about. Okay, and the next thing is lambda function. So lambda function and API gateway are two different things. The major problem that developers are facing when they create a function from here, they need to manually connect a API gateway. Okay, that API gateways they need to create manually. Okay, that I've created the separate video for API gateway. So there are four types of API gateways, like HTTP, which is better than REST. Okay, they have a build low latency and cost effective than REST APIs. Okay, there is a slight difference that I've told you that I'll say later. So these are the HTTP or advanced APIs that we generally use. These are the two types of REST APIs, private and public. So you can choose this one, and WebSocket we rarely use, but lots of support of OAuth2 and CORS support they provide nowadays inbuilt, so you don't have to worry about. and here you can provide integration and then choose your Lambda function and select Lambda, and on you can do manually. For each API, get API, post API, each method you need to provide core support and all the things you do need to do manually, that we did in just 2 lines here. Okay, and we have created a API gateway in just a single line. Okay, this API gateway I have connected. So yeah, this is the simplest way of doing things. Okay, now the last thing is, it is asking to deploy the change set. I'll say yes, because you guys are remember I the very first time when it asked to check at last that everything is correct, so that was the option that we got selected, and we got this final approval that it is asking. And this thing you can check on AWS console as well. If we go there on AWS console, we search for CloudFormation again. So here if you choose, everything is getting created. Okay, here we go. Something went wrong here, see? So you can check here what went wrong. So here as well you can check, and let me go to the stack once again. So this is getting created. Okay, you can see the events, what's happening. So these are the things you can monitor from here as well and here as well. Excuse me. So it will take a while because it's going to get the things and deploy there. So I'm not going to pause this video, so it should be as it is. If you want, like, you can skip or you can move forward or use 2x speed, which would be preferable for now, because this is a time consuming process. Okay, because but yeah, once this is done, the rest of the things will be very easy. So now the next process, we'll go to the escalator. Now what's the problem are what's the wrong things are lots of developers are doing? Okay, they do big giant applications like, let's suppose, Next.js. Okay, so I'll say Next.js, or I'll say then Spring Boot. Okay, then I'll grab this if I can 2 times here. So please do not use Next.js. Okay, why? Because it's very bulky, and it is not why it the serverless functions are created for. They have very small memory and small footprints, so don't use your Spring Boot. You can use actually, but I won't prefer to use Spring Boot or any framework of, let's suppose, ROR. If you are from ROR, or if you are from Express family, Node Express family, so please do not use this. Okay, just use the normal request response pattern and use on the core things. Okay, because Spring Boot plus JPA is super slow, and if you use the combination of Spring Boot plus I'll say Spring Boot plus Java plus your JDBC, then it is 10 times faster than this combination. Okay, that's why we don't use this is not meant for Lambda. Please do not use this. Okay, this is not don't use any framework. Lambda, within Lambda you can create small things. Now the next thing is how you can connect the two Lambda functions. That's the most important part. Okay, let's suppose if you have a function of user. Okay, I'll say user with name, email, password, let's suppose. Okay, so I'll say my user table which have name, and let me use this, and then I'll use name email, let's suppose, but you need to have lots of tables in order to create a meaningful big application, right? So I'll create another one here which will be address, okay, with the field of pin code and city. Okay, so if you have a single form of sign up and you wanted to insert the data here, okay, this is my sign up form, and if you have to insert the data into the two Lambda functions, what you will do, you have to connect these two things using SQS, and that SQS is a simple queue service or Kafka. Okay, let's say Kafka or any PubSub or anything, but we are using a single AWS environment, so what I'll prefer to go with SQS. So if you guys are not familiar with SQS, till then let me see what's going on here. Okay, it's going on. So search for SQS. Let me search here. So simple queue service. So this service allows you to share the data in the form of queue. Okay, so let's suppose this function got the data, okay, then it will automatically, and of course the normal microservices, these are the kind of microservices you can assume. Okay, so these are the services, smaller services, and each service should have a single its own its own database, might be DynamoDB, MongoDB, or any SQL database. And once you get hit here, event will get triggered by SQS, and it will call this another service, and this service will return back the response. This is how it works. Okay, sorry. So this is the actual format, so don't get confused and don't use these frameworks to do entirely in the single small serverless function. Okay, it's a function, it's not a complete bulky container. Okay, behind the scene it's a container, but not for these things. Okay, so let's go back to CLI. So as I told you guys, this is time consuming, but everything went well and we haven't got any errors. So now I'll go to CloudFormation again. Okay, here, and now you can see, you can click here and you can see the outputs. These are the three outputs that we have wrote here, and I forgot to add one more thing. Actually, here I just need to add one more thing, which is my output of database connection. So that database connection, I'll add it later, no worries. So let's go back to here, and inside stack info events, okay, this many things. Let's go to the RDS ones. RDS got created. So here instances, I have one instance is available. So let's try to connect this thing first. Here's my endpoint, okay, and I am using this extension, okay, MySQL database extension. And if, let me add my previous connection. Here I'm using a host name. This is my host name, and you can get your name, email, password from here. Not name, email, password, but root name, password, and database name from here, and try to connect this. So everything went well, it got connected, but we don't have any tables. The agenda is to run this application, and let's see if we have the endpoints. Okay, so I'll go to my function. I'll name it serverless function, Lambda functions. So if you go there, the Lambda function got created. If I go here, I have this one API endpoint, API gateway, so you can test and monitor the things. Okay, X-ray tracing, that is enabled, so you can use this traces. So for now we don't have any logs, but once we do test, or once we hit this API, we will start getting logs. Okay, so we have this internal server error because guys, I have told you, once I get this API endpoint, then only like I'll start doing things. So for now I have this endpoint, so what I'll do is I'll add this endpoint to here in my code of here actually. So now let me show you how to redeploy or update the stack. So I'll say SAM build again. So SAM build, it's going to build once again. So now I have this new endpoint, so it's doing the things again, and now I'll be using SAM deploy. So this time it's not going to take much. As I told you, the rest of the layers are already pushed. This new layers got pushed, and now it's going to take small chunk of time to reflect the changes. That's why it is super easy. And if we are doing these things manually, then it will take a while actually. The manual process I really don't like to go with, or I will not suggest you to do in production things. That's why like I have spent many hours to make this simple video to show you all the possible ways of doing things. If you go through this video, if you understand it properly, the rest of the things will be very easy for you guys. Now the last step, I need to show you like how to run this thing locally. So for that we use a SAM local start API. So this will start API locally, that you can see here. You can simply hit this and of course you need any API /hello or /whatever. So you got this server error, and here now you can see what kind of server error that you are getting. Okay, this is your error and this is your event got called. So users is already exist, so it got created. So I'll name it something else. Let me see if I have user. So yeah, great, user got created actually. Let me delete this user if I can, or drop table from here. Yes, I'll say yes, drop table. Let me refresh this and let me call this you can we are getting error, but it's fine. Okay, we haven't called any anything there, but now you can start watching or monitoring logs. If something goes wrong, you can check the things here. Okay, this is getting started, and this log stream is will be resumable. So it's a live stream that we are getting. Anything goes wrong, you will clearly see here is already exist. Once again we got this because table is getting created. Okay, great. So that was the agenda. The MySQL is getting connected and this is getting created. Now if you wanted to create a RESTful APIs for create, read, update, delete, don't forget to use the chat GPT or any AI tools that I'll say. But the agenda of this video is completed. Okay, so I'll stop here. I won't waste much time of you guys. So thank you so much all of you guys for being with me, supporting me all the time. It's been pleasure to be here. Please let me know inside comment box what you want from my side. Definitely I'll make it for you, and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you haven't already, and smash that like button if you enjoyed. See you soon in next video. Till then, tata, bye bye.